The two big priorities at Knox this year are worship and welcome.
Worship and welcome are our two areas of focus this year.
Two areas of focus for the church this year are welcome and worship.
If we want to become a caring Christian community, I don't think that starts when people find their way into trouble or something goes wrong with some kind of emergency. I think that really begins when we first get to know people, when we welcome people.
We have been welcomed by Jesus, embraced, loved, taken note of. And Jesus calls us to extend that same welcome to others. And so welcome is one of the most basic postures of hospitality and expressions of the gospel. Welcome strangers, the gospel calls us to. Welcome the other person.
I think the helpful thing for me in the welcoming process is naming the things that we want to do better. So materials, spaces, people having the same information to be able to share with people who want to engage further with Knox, and connecting people well once they enter the doors of Knox, for them to know kind of the next steps that they can take.
On a Sunday, welcome to Internationals looks like people stepping out maybe of their comfort zone and greeting somebody who might not look like themselves. Even being ready to ask deeper questions about why they showed up at church on a Sunday is a fantastic way to welcome.
Parents coming on a Sunday, from whatever distance they're coming, it can be often a harried time. Harried and hurried. One of the things that as we welcome parents is just understanding that the kids might be loud, they might be grumpy, and they might be late, but welcoming them warmly and just letting them know that whichever way that they've entered into our space, that they are welcome here.
Students are mostly pretty new in the city and are looking often for connections, for community, for friendship, for mentors to learn from. To welcome is to have an open eye on who is new, who is different, who don't you know in the pew sitting beside you on Sunday.
I think we all have a part to play, and it's exciting because there's so many of us to play that part, and our location is such that we have so much that we can do and so much impact that we can have. So I feel like sky's the limit, and it's awesome.
Worship is the most central practice for us as a church community. It is the air we breathe. And worship should be an expression, a fresh expression of life here. And so we want to focus in on worship, renewing our worship practices, because we feel like it's timely for us to do that.
We've been historically great at preaching the word and worshiping in a way that is really engaging in intellectual worship of God, and we want to also engage our hearts as well, so that it's a holistic worship of God.
We are people that are marked by being people of worship. That's really who we are. We're worshipers, and so welcoming people into that is really a big part of welcoming them into the family of God.
I look forward to worship that is so focused and centered on Jesus Christ, where people are free to offer the fullness of their lives to the fullness of who God is. I see a year from now a church that is experiencing dynamic, Spirit-inspired worship, where people come every Sunday and are encountering the living Jesus Christ, offering their hearts, giving their lives in fresh ways. I see newcomers coming to Knox, having that same experience, seeing a church fully engaged in worship and saying, there is something of God there that I want to be part of. People of Knox, all of us together, welcoming those who are new to Knox, so that it's not a specific task of that person or that group, but that the whole church is involved in welcoming others to Knox, and that everyone takes it as their responsibility. And so that if someone isn't welcome, every one of us feel the burden of that, and we are quick and ready and warm and winsome in our welcome to others.